What's up everyone, this is Geos59 and in this video I thought I'd talk about my personal opinion and experience with the PlayStation Move. My brother-in-law has PlayStation Move, so I got to try it firsthand and it's pretty good. The only game I played on was Time Crisis. It kind of felt like a party game and a arcade game at the same time. You know, like when you're playing like a shooter with someone, and it was alright, but I wish I could have played more games for it though. There are two major flaws when it comes to the PlayStation Move that I can think of right off the top of my head on why it's not doing as good as it should. The first would be to have more games for the PlayStation Move. And yes, they got Heavy Rain that supports it, and Killzone 3 and SOCOM 4 that support it, but I'm talking about games that are just only PlayStation Move, and that are also high quality, or at least good, like the Fight Lights Out. That is what the PlayStation Move needs. And you see, I've seen the Sorcery on the E3 trailer, and that was pretty good. But like I said, it needs more than just one or two or three games. It needs to have a pretty good amount of games. And they don't need to be multi-million-dollar games. They can be games for the PSN and then just multiplayer, or just something that's interesting, something that's fun, something that's pretty good quality. Like I said, it doesn't have to be like Final Fantasy 13 or Killzone 3 or anything like that, but it doesn't have to be. You don't have to spend millions of dollars making a PlayStation Move game, but it should be something that's fun and not shovelware, not casual garbage, but it should just be average, fun game. The second flaw is that it's too expensive. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you wanted to play The Fight Lights Out. You need two controllers. You need two PlayStation Move controllers for one person. One for each fist, simulating punches. Which means that's two $30 or $40 online. Even online, it's like mid-30s to buy one PlayStation Move controller. So that's $60 right there. And the cheapest I found online was roughly $20, so that's another 20. That's not including the PlayStation Eye. That's not including other PlayStation Move games. My point is that if you want to get the PlayStation Move, you have to give people a reason to get the PlayStation Move. You can't just charge that much and expect people to buy it. In my opinion, when PlayStation Move came out, it should have been $20 maximum, because then people might have actually been able to afford it. The problem with the price of the PlayStation Move in general is if you want to play Little Big Planet 2, that's fine. You don't need a PlayStation Move controller. You don't need a PlayStation Move controller for Heavy Rain, for SOCOM 4, for Killzone 3. It might be a different experience, but the PlayStation controller, the regular PlayStation controller, costs equal or less than the PlayStation Move controller. So most people aren't going to be inclined to buy a PlayStation Move controller. It's just ridiculous. And like I said, if you don't have the PlayStation Eye, you got to get that. If you don't have the Navigator, you got to get that for some games. And that's just one person. That's what makes PlayStation Move impractical, unfortunately. I'm hoping on E3, or maybe just in the future in general, that they announce more games specifically for the PlayStation Move, to give people an actual reason to get the PlayStation Move. The only games that look interesting for me personally are the Fight Lights Out, which looks pretty kick-ass, Sorcery, which looks interesting, more or less, and No More Heroes. And I'm well aware that you probably don't need a PlayStation Move controller for No More Heroes, and that's, again, exactly why people aren't gonna be that excited to get PlayStation Move. If you have PlayStation Move, good for you, but for most people, it's just not practical enough for gamers.